How we doing, chat? How are we doing? Who we got? Who we got? We got... Oh, Malk's in the lurk. Malk, lovely to see you. Good to see you. Who else we got? We got Bestie. Love to see you, Bestie. There we go. Hi. How are we? Pardon me. There we go. Oh, it's Monday. It is Monday, folks. Which means we're back once again. Fresh week. New Beefers After Dark. Hopefully the schedule's not going to get fucked this week by shenanigans. But yeah, hi. Welcome. There we go. Just getting everything organized as per usual. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you, thank you. There we go. Lovely bit of hydro time. Just getting all my bits and bobs organized. Right. Here we go. Sure. Let me chat. Nice. There we go. Oh, itchy nose. Pardon me. Go. Yes, we're back. New week. And it should be we're doing some more PHOENIX WRIGHT. I'm very excited, as I am, as I have been for the last few PHOENIX WRIGHT streams, just because we're on the final case of the last game, final case of the first game. So, you know, like, I'm excited to see how it ends. I'm excited to see how we finish it off. Yeah. Like, and then we'll have a couple nice streams in between where we get to chill out and just play whatever, and then we should be good. One second. Beef's just doing a thing. Sorry about this chat. Just organizing. Oh, there we go. There we go, that'll do for now. Nice. Nice. Go. Right then. Games. Game capture. PHOENIX WRIGHT. There we go. Right then. Continue. A2 investigation. Rise from the ashes. Go. Right, where the fuck were we last time, chat? What are we on? Let me think. Oh, yeah, okay. Screwdriver from a past case. We put the jar together. We found the rubber glove. Evidence locker. Scene of a stabbing in the evidence room. IDs of people who entered, and Edgeworth was there. We got Bruce Goodman, who was the victim, I believe. Yeah, there's Mr. Goodman. There's Damon Gant, the fucking horrifying fellow. Mike Meekins, there he is. The absolute cartoon character that he seems to be. Right then. Right, so we'll just have to... Yep, that's good. Right, I've not been on this for a long time, so I'm gonna need to fucking... I'm gonna be winding the fuck back up on where I am, where everything is, I think. Criminal affairs, nothing going on in here. Right, police department. Move. Guard station. Evidence room. Okay, there's nobody here. Underground parking. There we go, Edgeworth. Right, so we talked about all this stuff to Edgeworth. So I'm going to talk to him again just to refamiliarize myself. It's in the evidence, but there's a communications error during the investigation. Some people believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time again. Times since that case 2 years ago. Trial. Still presiding prosecuting attorney. They give control of the investigation over to the police department. Any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police again. They can do nothing but wait for his results. Okay. Right. So Gant's taken the charge and stuff. Oh, we go, got my fan on rotation. Right. Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe we'll just show him the best evidence. I can get some reaction out of him. Right, okay. So that, yeah. So I need to... This is going to be an issue. Yeah, that's right. The evidence during that day, didn't you? Just while the incident occurred, no less. It's true. Chief of Police. Yep, that's when he gave us the screwdriver, which is evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. We wanted to keep his office sold. It would have to be in the evidence. Oh, it would have to be if the evidence is already filed. Okay, there we go, yeah. Chief is in any case, on the day of stabbing, I brought this back here. This leads to the correct case, right. And we've already checked the label on this, haven't we? Oops, bugger. Wrong button. Yeah, we've already checked the label on this. Texas A116. This might turn out to be the clue that breaks the case. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, A116. Right, okay. Okay, so he doesn't care about that either. Lost report, Bruce Goodman, yep. Oops, pressed the wrong fucking button, goddammit. Right. Switchblade from the scene of the crime. Oh yeah, it had the tag on it. This one says SL92, yep. Yeah, because that's got the same marker as that one there, because we found that out in court. Yes, right. Now Edgeworth is still here, so clearly that means that like whatever we've got to figure out, he's part of it. Let's see if there's any blood in the old office. Sorry about your books, Edgeworth. Aha! Soft edgy boy, yes. We have blood chat in Edgeworth's office, no less. It's from a nosebleed. Maybe in his wrath, Mr. Edgeworth slapped someone for their incompetence. Gumshoe's face come to mind. Okay. So we have blood in his office, and he says it looks like it's from a nosebleed. Which is interesting, chat. Can we talk to him about this? No, we can't. Why can't we talk to him about the fact there's blood in his office? Prosecution for this case. No, so there's some piece of evidence that we have that shit, I didn't even realize we fucking hold on a second. Pause. I know you've probably got a hold of this already, right? It has to do with that case, the SL9 incident. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay. So can we talk to him about that? Now we can! Yes! The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the Deputy Chief of Police at the time. Damon Gant. Yes, okay, chat, we're making fucking progress, let's go. That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago too, then. He was a top officer, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. So why was a deputy police chief on the investigation? In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed. I didn't touch the evidence. Guess I'll do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. If you were still studying forensic science, luminal testing forward. Well then, might. Oh, we gonna are we dusting for fingerprints next? Aluminium powder for taking fingerprints. Yo! It's been chemically treated for better adhesion. We are the enemy, you know? I've no say in today's investigation. Do as you will, Edgeworth. I'm really... no need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved. Fucking... Right, kiss PHOENIX... Right, kiss Edgeworth on the mouth. Kiss him right on the fucking mouth. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? Recovers fingerprints from handprints for comparison with fingerprint file. You seem to remember seeing suspicious. Yes, I remember. Smooch him. Yes, smooch this motherfucker. Right, I remember where there was a handprint. Alright, chat. I remember where there was a handprint. We need to go to the police department. Police department? We'll go to the police department, chat. Guard station. Evidence room. Right. Yes! I fucking knew it! There was 2 handprints here. Both made by blood. One is faded, and one is still there. Investigation turned up suspicious handprint. There it is. There's the visible one. Here is the one of the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Let's get started. First, choose a finger. Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. Let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print. Looks like that's probably the thumb, I want to say, chat. Probably the thumb. One second. Egg. I think the thumb is our best bet, chat. First we sprinkle the aluminium powder. Aluminium? Hold on. Aluminum? Am I being fucked with? It's aluminium, right? Aluminium. I'm being fucked with. I've got to be. It's aluminium. So that did the trick. The aluminium powder adheres, or is it actually aluminum? And I'm getting like the wrong thing. Hold on. 1 second, chat. Okay, you know, it's all you. Hey, hello, Tank. Strip check. Thank you, my dog. Thank you. Okay, yeah, it's the aluminum is the American spelling. Thank you. I was so confused for a second there, Tank. I was genuinely just there, like, am I misremembering shit? Aluminium is how it's spelled. Yes, yeah. No, my brain was being befuddled then. I've not heard or used that word in a long time, I think. So my brain was just fucking, like, questioning it when I read it, because I read it as it's spelt in the game, but I was remembering it's like, oh, isn't it aluminium? Yeah, aluminium, yeah. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. Yeah. Tank, we got fucking fingerprint things to do. Might take some getting used to, though. It won't go up my nose or anything. Just pour out the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Pardon me. Well, let's get our fucking fingerprints, chat. Let's get our fucking fingerprints. Sorry, I had a stupidly loud cutscene playing. Yeah, no sailors gamer, you good. Yeah, we're gonna get these fingerprints. We're gonna get these fingerprints, chat. Just you watch. Just you watch. I'm gonna get those fingerprints for show. There we go. There we go. You missed a spot. I'm working on it, Malk. I'm working on it. Unfortunately, I can't go down there. It won't let me. Hello? Oh, wait. Oh. Hey, well done, Malk. 20 stream streak. Good on you. Right, time to blow away all the excess. Way! Nice. Something like a fingerprint? Guess it doesn't. Does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint behind must have worn gloves. Swear to God, my dog's trying to kill me. Oh no. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations, but it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we just look for other prints? So let's see if we can get a clear print. Okay, it just came over to me, pulled out my leg, started whining because she wanted attention. The second I turned around, bent down to her. That's the second time she's done that now. Like, that's the second time your dog has done that to you, Tank, I'm pretty sure. Like, goddamn. Yeah! Fingerprint. Well, Chad, what do we have here? There we go. She's done it multiple times. I'm about to get my own back. Oh no. God help her when I get paid. I'm buying cider and a kebab. Then a touch over the little twat. That's animal cruelty right there. God damn, that's just animal cruelty. Hey, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. So well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right? Yes, she's right. Look at the fingerprint data we got from Miss Edgeworth and point out the person who you think left these prints. Can make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whose fingerprints would we most likely find on this evidence locker? It's probably going to be motherfucking Gumshoe, because it's his locker, I believe. Yep. Yeah, it's Gumshoe's locker, so... So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. What I was thinking. Came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. Gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright. If I remember correctly, there was one other hand. Yeah, there was. Right, slide over here. I believe it was here, so... court record. Wrong button. If I remember rightly... Yeah, that's the one. Okay, what now? Because the game doesn't seem to want to let me do the thing. Okay, and then do I... Okay, so we've got another handprint there. That's the one we saw earlier. Okay. So how the fuck do I do the thing? Because there's another handprint there, so how do I use it? There's no, I don't have a present option, so how do I use it? Hold on. I hate it when the game does this. The game really should just let me, like, pull this out and, like, just use it. Hold on. I feel like it would have been much easier if the game just simply... That's so real, honestly. There was a handprint here. Okay. Tracing this. Yeah, I feel like there was an easy way of doing this game than like having me just examine this locker. Like I could have just pulled out the duster and like cracked on. The area where the blood was wiped away, right? We'll end up finding it after chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Would you say the probability behind this is high? Let's try to find prints that weren't wiped away. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody handprint. Go. Nice. Good shot. That kind of result will be with matching prints. It doesn't look like we'll get any clear results from the print. Let's try a different finger then. Interesting. Is there no other thumbprints at all? Is it just... Oh, let's say thumbprints. Fingerprints? Is it just these? Do I just need to absolutely fuck it up with dust then? Hold on. Chat, we're absolutely gonna bombard this shit with fingerprint dust. There we go. Oh, that's better. There we fucking go. Right, who are we on? No. No. Yes! It's time to compare. Interesting. So we have a handprint left by one Jake Marshall, the old former detective, current security guard. Interesting. Now, why would Officer Marshall's bloody handprint be here? That was wiped away. Sadly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. The luminol reaction, the blood and the fingerprints are all in the same place. So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped blood stain. Is that what I think it is? I thought it was the cat. Ah, get fucked. You'll love to see it. It just isn't a stream without a couple of bots getting chucked out. But why would Officer Marshall? Looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. not funny. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it. Functioning mutiny. Oh, look at that. More. Look at that. Let's fucking go, chat. We're back in court! February the 24th, 9:41 AM, District Court, Defendant Lobby Number DOS. What do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested for each crime. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologise for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you for too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. There we go. It says Mr. Wright suspects the police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck for a plea bargain. What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean. Don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Sky. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belonged to Officer Jake Marshall. Chat, notice the hand. We still don't have an explanation for the hand. We still have no explanation, chat, for why her hand is fucked up. Bloodstained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the card I have up my sleeve today. Just keep in mind, chat. Keep in mind, she has that wound on her hand, and so does Meekins. I bit it, sorry. Don't be sorry. I'd do the same. You see this woman? I'd bite this woman. You know? I'd leave teeth marks on her. You kidding me? I'd leave like handprints and shit. Like, damn. She is fine as hell. Because where is Meekins? Yeah. Fucking Meekins, he's also got a wounded hand. And he was at the locker room scene of the crime. Think about that. We have the same man, supposedly murdered in 2 different locations. She's the suspect for one of them. Injury on the hand. Meekins, at the locker room scene of the crime, also an injury on his hand. Is that not curious, chat? The similarities are astounding. It's alright, Malk, you can bite whoever you like. Listen, Malk, I got a lot of back, I got a lot of body. If you want to leave some teeth marks in me, like, you crack on. My body is a canvas, crack on, Malk. In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall. We have to play the cards we're dealt, isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to, Mr. Wright. Ooh. February the 24th, 10 AM, District Court, courtroom number 9. Oh, Edgeworth, hello. Court is now in session for the trial of Ms. Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... He's thinking. I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain in both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I love the fact she has her little notepad out. It's so cute. I love that. This is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to prevent impartial evidence. Today I'll present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In doing so, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things. Emma, remember what side of the aisle you're on here? Emma, like, who you stood next to? You stood next to Wright. Like, lock in, gamer, lock in. Chad, I don't know how many times I need to say this any time I play a fucking PHOENIX WRIGHT game, to both you, Chad, but also to the characters in the fucking game. Lock in, we have shit to do. Murder trial, people. Don't think I've forgotten when it was fucking, what, April, May and the bellboy shit. And it's like, you know, she was winking and giving us the jiggle physics, and it's just there like, people are dead, motherfucker. Lock in. Come on now. Even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait. Very well. Let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls, drumroll please. Actually, don't I have a drumroll? Hold on, chat, 1 second. Hold on. Don't I have a drumroll? Hold on. I could have sworn I had a drumroll in this bitch. Hold on. That's not a drum roll. Hold on 1 second. Do I have a drum roll? This is unacceptable, chat. Hold on 1 second. We don't have a drum roll. This is unacceptable. Hold on, chat. Before we There we go. 1 second, chat. There we go. Right then. Yes, right then. So, who is our first witness of this court proceedings? It is... the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. I'm glad we got a fucking drum roll now. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Yep, here he is. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I am Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is... that would be murderer, sir. Have we considered throwing this man in jail, chat? You know what? I think we should just let this man be the fall guy. Like, fuck it, you know? Like, toss him out. Give a shit. So you're telling us that you're a professional killer? It was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got a fucking megaphone. I forgot he had that, chat. I forgot he had that fucking fuck-ass megaphone. Sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. How old are you, Meekins? 22. You are an adult, my guy. Is that my cat now? Come on, Scrumbly. Come on, Shimon. He's doing that thing again, chat, where he fucking debates. Come on, you coming in or what? Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, sir. The judge is fucking begging him. There we go. The cat's decided he wants to join us now. Not long enough. Don't you need a second thought? Goober. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I'm part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. Interesting. Can't fault him for his lack of enthusiasm. Right, witness testimony, here we go, chat. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. Okay. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, and then I did it. After that, I passed out, until after another officer smacked me awake. You can head out, buddy. Okay. Put yourself. Ooh. There you go. You're a good boy. So, the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you. Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. Is it? And then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Right, press him. Crime report, here we go. What's on my normal duty? I was assigned to the guard room that day. Why? Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits. Okay. Now that's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the blue badges. The lovely police mascot created by the chief of detectives. He was assigned to protect the fucking badger. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. He was assigned to protect the fucking mascot of all things. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. Huh? Sounds like you were very important. Okay, here's the thing. If he was assigned to protect the badger, why was he then requested? Why was he then in the evidence room? Let's see what he says. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the blue badger to the... So he was tasked with protecting the mascot, and there were that many people running around. I'm going to guess he thought it was in the best wisdom to move it to the evidence room for safety. That's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? Spotted a suspicious man on the security screen of the room. Rushed into the room. In order to enter the... Yeah, if he needs to get into the evidence room, he needs a key card, he needs an ID. You need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right around my neck. Your ID number should... Yep, that's what I was thinking. Should be on the fucking thing. Your ID number should be listed on here. There it is. I found it. The one... This is the one right here. Please read the number. 4989596. Let's just have a bit of a checky. 4989596. His is the ID that pops up twice, chat. Look. Appears once, 10 minutes after Edgeworth, and before Bruce Goodman goes in. But look, he goes in again at the time of the murder. Look. Bruce Goodman and Meekins go into the evidence room at the same time. What is going on there, do we wonder? Let's see, the number 4989596. Yep, appears twice. Thank you. Is shown being used twice. Please explain, witness. No real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the blue badger to the evidence room. The second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. It was during the second time when... Right, okay, so he went in the first time to put the badger in there, and he went in the second time to go get the badger, and that's when shenanigans happened. What did I was trying to do, sir? Suddenly attacked. Luke. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir? A knife? That's a Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Okay. So, he's, as we said before, he's got a similar gash on his hand to Lana, right? Now, he says he got that gash in his hand whilst he was trying to get Goodman, right? He attacked with a knife. He was trying to detain him. There was a struggle. Maybe the knife cut his hand. Maybe it's an act of self-defense, you know? Knife goes for the strike, hand up, knife across. So then, did that same occurrence happen with Lana? Was there a fight and a struggle with Lana and the corpse of Goodman or whatever, and she similarly puts her hand up in self-defense to block the knife strike? Is that what has happened? We will find this out. There is a truth here. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. Okay. I fought for my life, then I did it. What did you do when you said you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into Kung Fu films, sir. Oh no, here we go. Man's gonna be like, oh yeah, I fucking got his ass from watching, like, Jet Li films or whatever. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched the knife from him. And he just took his knife. I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then... Next thing I knew... Yes, he punched me right in the face, sir. After that I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that I was unconscious? It's a fair question. Going to the report from there, woke up, it was about 5:30, he hit me right in the head too. Woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice, I mean, it's nice you recovered, that is. When I came around though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. The blue badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. What a loyal man. Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. One thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Meekins? With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Is that a fucking... Chief Gant delivered it to me this morning. Is this footage from the incident? A videotape. Yes, sir, that's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. But I specifically asked if there was such a tape. I was told that it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. I know the feeling. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Use the word murder, it scares me. A video of a real murder, just what are we getting ourselves into? Yo! $221,514. There's a fucking badger. Yo! We're actually getting fucking, like, video footage. Hell yes. So, fella walks in, opens the locker, a rubber glove falls out. It's 514, it's not 5... There's Meekins. Goddamn, Meekins. That knife looked familiar as well, chat. There's Meekins out for the count. Okay, okay. We're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? That was the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department. The blue badger, sir. Oh dear. Oh, chap, pardon me. Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room and some sort of activity did take place. Your Honour, instead of relying on clearly complete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins? Mystery Man. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do so. That's true, those lockers only open to one specific fingerprint. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. Stop with that fucking megaphone. So it must be him, no one else could have unlocked it. Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Cross-examination will lead. And everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Right, here we go, chat. The Mystery Man. His face can't be clearly seen in the video. I'm not gonna argue that. There's no question the other person was Detective Goodman. Hydra time! Thank you, Betty! Thank you! Right. Open lock from to do so. Lock he opens on Christmas. Okay. I mean, I agree with everything he's saying, but we need to press him regardless, I think. We have to be absolutely sure. Dude, let's get a good look at him. At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife. You must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face. I believe I would be classified as the latter. What's the point? You're the person who fought him, aren't you? But I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking to them, you see. Good trait for a police officer. I'm sure there is him. I bet my badge on it. Okay. Oh, 3 yawns back to back. Sorry, chat. Good grief, that's so rude. You don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people... Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or... Meekins. Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify. You claimed that the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. You open a locker, required Goodman's fingerprints to do so. about these lockers is there no other way to open them? No, sir. I tried all the kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints. I wonder what kind of methods he tried. If the man opened the locker's lock, which would only respond to registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to. Exactly my point, sir, and this too. The locker he opened was unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. How do you know that information? I've heard rumours, sir, from people in the know, sir. People in the know? The workers in the department cafeteria, sir, they keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles. For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable... Yes, honestly, thank you for that one, Edgeworth. Yes. So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video of the man's face. If I may say something, sir, please do. After all, you are the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint locker, and it was his hand that tried to thrust a knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this. Bugger me. My footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? One second, chat. Save, just to be double sure. Right. Let's think about this. I'm going to look at the court record. Hmm. 21st the 2nd. Time's right because it's 5:14. There's Goodman. Opens the locker without issue. Glove falls out. It's still 5:14. There's Meekins. Meekins encounters the man. Man pulls a knife. They fight. It's now 5:15. Meekins is out for the count. Locker's still open. Okay. Let's think. Blood there. Body handprint there. Somebody who's wearing gloves. That's probably Goodman, maybe. It's Marshall, but we don't know what's going on with that. Blood here. Video contained on this tape. There is one thing that seems rather strange. This contradiction leads to this possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman.
Objection!
Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. Okay. Proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I'll now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us the contradiction you speak of. So you can... Oh, belter. Let's go, chat. We're going to analyze the video. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching that video. I think I have something in my head, chat, for what the issue could be. What is the contradiction? Meekins went back in for the badge, so that's not what the contradiction could possibly be. There's our man, there's Goodman. Goodman opens the locker. Right, pausing. I'm just going to check something real quick. That was the glove that fell out. Right, hold on, chat. Okay. This is so fun, by the way, chat. Okay, that's fine. There's our brave officer Meekins. Let's play. Hold on. The thing that's strange about this video would have to be this. I just use my eye drops. I get it. Too teary. Perhaps you should think this through. I did think it through. Like, he's holding Edgeworth's knife. Like, play the video again. Play the video again. Watch this shit, chat. Watch this shit. Like, chat, look. Look at the shit, chat. Watch. Second, opens the locker. Right, chat, he opens the locker. Right. Glove falls out, as we've seen. Meekins walks in with a nightstick. Meekins ambushes him. Look. Look. Hold on. Look. That's that. Hold on. Let me hold on. Look. See that? See the knife, chat? It's fucking Edgeworth's knife. Oh, for fuck's sake, not again. Like, look. He had Edgeworth's knife in the evidence room. He had his knife. Entry team to talk. I think we may be cooked. These suspects be moving around like... Hi there, Saf. You still on Ready or Not, gamer? Yeah, shut the fuck up. Let's keep going. Right, hold on. No, Lamau. Fast forward, come on. Goodman goes in. I swear to God, if the fucking not going to be like there's no contradiction here, I'm going to lose it. I think I'd actually Kurt Cobain myself try that mission again. Yep, sounds about right. Hold on, chat. Boom! Look. Look! Is that not? Look! He's got Edgeworth's knife! That is Edgeworth's knife! Look at it! Look at the curve! See? And then curve. He's got Edgeworth's knife! He's in the evidence room! With Edgeworth's knife, the supposed murder weapon that killed him at the prosecutor's bit. Oh, fuck's sake, Phoenix. It's doing that thing again. It's doing the fucking gun thing again, where it's like, oh, there's no contradiction here. It's like, bro, he's holding Edgeworth's knife. The knife that was like in the trunk of Edgeworth's car that was used to murder Goodman. He's got it in his fucking hand. He's literally holding the fucking knife. It's in his hand. He's in the evidence locker. Hello? Like, hello? Nah, I fucking hate it when it does this, chat. I fucking hate it when it does this. The absolute shenanigans of these people. Fucking... Fuck it, one more time. God damn it, Seth. Nah, hold on. I've got to fucking pause. I'm gonna... Wait, hold on. Play it again. Yeah, come on, get it going. What's strange about this video has got to be this. Objection, Mr. Wright. But you seem to have forgot the point of this exercise. Point. What you are looking for is one thing and one thing only. Something that indicates the man may not have been Goodman. I almost walked right into the... Judge? I'll place him under arrest, sir. We'll go back to the videotape. Fucking... I hate the fact that it's like there's nothing with the knife. It's like, bro, he's clearly holding fucking Edgeworth's knife. Like, what are we doing unless it looks exactly the fucking same as the knife that, you know, belonged to Edgeworth? Clearly there's a fucking issue there. I swear to God, if it's gonna do the gun thing again where it's not until fucking down the line, where it's like, oh my god, the gun that was fired 3 times only has fired in 2. Oh, like, if it's gonna do that to me again, I'm gonna fucking lose it, I swear to god. Yeah, shut the fuck up, get going. Okay. Chat, is there anything I'm missing? Like... What is it about this picture? Is there anything I'm missing here? We're gonna go step at a time, stage at a time. What am I looking at, chat? Is there anything here that seems odd? That I'm just not perceiving with my Neolithic eyes? What do you think, chat? What are we looking at? Like, what is it about this scene here that I'm missing? Anything, chat? What do we see? Is there anything here that I'm missing? Fuck it. So this video, to be this. Officer Meekins. Join me, sir. You are the only Meekins here, motherfucker. As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released. At the time of your limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. I think I know where the game's going with this. I think I know. And I just didn't perceive it. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker... Let's rewind a little earlier. Notice the light. Precisely my point, Your Honor. Yeah, okay. Yeah. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Now, my dumbass eventually saw that light, but I just thought because that was the locker that was going to be opened, I just thought the fucking... That was just like the game being like, yeah, that's the one that's going to open, so the light's on. Like, I didn't realize that was part of the, I didn't realize that was the clue. Once again, I was looking in the wrong place. What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. Interesting. The locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. I know, it must have been broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, Do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes. Why was the locker locked? This isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Maybe something like jammed the system sensor? Something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. And once more, the locker wasn't locked. Okay. Okay, so the light's on, so the locker's already open. Which means somebody set it up so this man, whomsoever it is, maybe Goodman, maybe not, could open the damn thing. Alright, hold on. That seems pretty this seems pretty conspicuous. I clicked on it before. Yeah, there is. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Yeah, here we go. Camera pans. Opens the thing. Glove falls out. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. Sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances when I open my car door. Happening? We can't be sure that the item wasn't completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between... So did somebody put that glove there just right in the right enough space that the door wouldn't shut properly? Or the lock wouldn't engage, I guess. There's our mans. Fiddle-dee-dee goes wandering in, opens the door, glove falls out. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times I get stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me. Meekins is just struggling every day, chat. But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to have been an insulator. There we go, insulator. Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene, there would might have been something that fits that description. Insulator, you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that stuck in the locker door? And it was the glove, chat. It was the glove. I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that that was in the victim's locker. It has a tag and it says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the door. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? It would appear so, sir. Okay. Order. So are we to believe then that the victim, whom the witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. Okay. Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Yes, just crack on. I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. You mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke? Begin your testimony. Mystery Man Part Deuce. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, you must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. Yes, we know this, of course. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. An ID card record, I see. I have the ID record right here, Your Honor. Yes, so... Yeah. Yeah, so Edgeworth came in, then it was Meekins, and then Bruce Goodman goes in. And then followed shortly by Meekins again to retrieve the Blue Badger. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, Yeah, so that's a doubt this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using the room? That's a fair question. This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Okay. Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Interesting. Does that explain why the what? No, it's because it's fucking gumshoe stuff. That's why it's in there. That's why the what do you call it? Fishing pole and metal detector are in there. I thought it's because it was to do with the Von Karma case, but no, I think it's just because those are gumshoes things. Just saying that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon. Moving on to the cross-examination. Mystery Man 2. There's one other thing that proves the data. Right. Is that card hanging from your neck as these ID cards? Yes, sir. This card's hanging on the cuffs. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it. But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get my car? Well, the remaining time it's my ID card getting stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Jesus. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Show the ID card, sir. I think that's odd. I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked. Everything stems from contradictions, that's pointing out. The ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to do something like this. C. Investigator's ID card found at the prosecutor's office. Scene crime. Yeah, here's the thing. I'm just like, you need to use your ID card to get into the evidence room, right? But we found Goodman's ID at the prosecutor's office crime scene, not the evidence room crime scene. Objection! So his ID was at a completely different location, chat. I'm not good at waiting, so... I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. Yep. We found his ID at the prosecutor's office crime scene, not the evidence room crime scene. So how did he get in? Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost report item. It's only half completed, but it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe there's something to be his ID card. I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. So what does all this mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Okay. What order? Bravo, Mr. Wright. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. Therefore, there are two grounds to support this. One is the locker. Yep, it was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far? Yes. That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at the single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. It's a fair point, we don't actually see the stabbing or anything like that. Something wrong, right? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. It seems you finally realised exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. He's going to say that the actual murder scene was at the prosecutor's office and that Lana is, in fact, the killer. That's what he's fucking getting at, chat. He's going to say that the murder at the evidence room was false. And so the actual murder is the one that Lana supposedly did. The victim of this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground, yep, there it is, at the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Ms. Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Well. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered, and where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so you're aware. To do something else, Lana. So this mess. You know what time it is, chat? Object. Objection! Object, motherfucker! One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, don't tell me you're objecting to what we've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. The cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Okay, go on. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Tentacle. Tentacly. That's so fucking cool. Yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident of the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. Just might be my chance. Time to call. Yeah! Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, whom do you have in mind? Someone we have a reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. There's a name. Before deciding whether or not to comply. Well then, Mr. Wright, this person of whom you would have testify, what is his or her name? Jake Marshall. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. He said, yep, well, that's good. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Nice. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. Ooh, chat. February 24th, 11:32 AM, District Court. Defendant lobby number 2. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I don't figure anything out. You're the only one who knows everything. You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. Don't recall ever asking for his protection. Just don't trust me. Hello there, Gumshoe. Somebody wake up Malk. Malk, come get your mans. Malk, come fucking drag your mans out of here. Yeah, somebody wake up Malk and tell him to come and collect their mans here. Guess I am. I'll come back later. Bro just rocked up and left. Oh no, what is, he's back. You got a lot of pal, my detective run all around while on duty. Now to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at a funeral. You better be pal, hey. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. Have you brought what I asked? You mean this, right? What the fuck is that? My apologies, Detective, due to my present circumstances. I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. Did she forge Wright's name for this shit? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? Oh, I'll need them by noon. Crazy. The SL9 incident. I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. I do well to read them. Can't believe the previous prosecutor witnessed that case. So witness SL9 incident files received from Lana Sky. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders? Now that I brought you stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Why's your name in here? Unless... SL9 incident is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings, eh? Interesting. Also, 1 second, chat. I just had an idea, chat, so I'm currently fucking Googling it. That hurt. Yeah. Hi, Jen. Yeah. I was just quickly Googling whether or not I could make hot chocolate with chocolate milk. So... the answer is yes. So I'll probably be experimenting with that tonight. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. Joe Dark. Also, hi Tank, good to see you again. She ran away. You know what? I just remembered I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, and Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings years ago. Been lurking for like an hour. Oh, fuck yeah. Playing Timberborn? Oh, the fucking Beaver game. Nice. This can't be just a coincidence. I think it's... Is that the Beaver game? Hold on. 1 second. Yeah, it is the Beaver game. Jesus, that looks like it really fucking expands. Good grief. Knowing you, you might just be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. Better take a good look at this file. To be continued, literally right now. Because it's not yet midnight, we've got like, what is it? We've got like, ooh, yeah, we've got, yeah. You could do so much on it. Yeah, like I said, it really looks like it fucking expands outwards. Like, Jesus. Yeah, we've got like, what, an hour and fucking 20 minutes? Like, let's get going. Let's fucking go. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Ms. Lana Sky. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand, the officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. This motherfucker! Witness, please. Just got my bots to start making bots. Yo, nice. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trials of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections where needed. Yes, we get it! Bro just killed his aura easily. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. That's my name. If you listen hard enough, you can hear it. Hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? Humans. According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A Desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly, please. So, yeah, I agree. Like, we don't need marshals waffling, I think. Day of the crime. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchid. Okay. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Interesting. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Bro, just talk back to the judge. Jesus. What do you mean by 2 security systems? Security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks in the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Thank you, Judge. Day of the crime. Just keep a wary eye on that bone orchid. Did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor in that room so still. Even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interned the recordings. Interred them. Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. In actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. Okay. I said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but it was my style. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? You heard a word I said, partner. I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado, I know. Let's rules get in his way. Officer Marshall on the day of the crime. Ah! Get fucked. Get fucked. Hooray. Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. Fucking bots. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about it? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fucked? There's about 2 security systems anyway. Detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. You didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. My partner ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Something like that too. Yep, true. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? Remember right, I was I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlour's Von Gol sepia pasta. You abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles. Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope you this has at least taught you a lesson. This is not what to raise this year. So is it traveling months? Meant to keep an eye on the lockers, or on the evidence room. He was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but he doesn't do that shit. He's protected by 2 security systems, the ID card and the cameras. We don't know. Like, here's the thing. Who is the Sevens? That's the thing. Who is the Sevens? We don't know who that is. They came in real early, though. Streetside saloon. Traveling around the trail. I wonder if we present the glove as basically a thing of being like, well, you know. Probably wrong, but it's like, you know, if it's protected by 2 security systems, then, you know, this fucking glove got in the way of that. Objection! Nope. Sadly, it is not. Objection! Nope, it's not the ID card either. Alright, I was street side, I was traveler. I'm out, Officer Marshall. We call it evidence. If you plan to pin me, it's better to draw, otherwise you're just wasting time. It seems clear despite being responsible for the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't even take orders from anyone. There we go, yep, his bloody handprint. Officer Marshall, does it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you went to the security room at the time of the crime. Drag me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene, or to be exact, a handprint. I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be there. I only wish it were, officer. See, your fingerprints were covered in blood! Witness, what's the meaning of this? The blood-stained fingerprints were at the scene of the crime. The blood was wiped away, however. A luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the blood-stained fingerprints. Begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Blood-stained fingerprints, here we go, chat. Said, it's only natural my fingerprints to be in the evidence room. One of them just happened to be in the same place as the blood-stained handprints. Murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know there was a murderer who was wearing gloves? See? Nothing to do with it. This explanation appears odd, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. Don't spend our cross-examine. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Right. So he's basically saying that his fingerprints are just there because he was, you know, in the locker room or whatever at some point, right? And he's saying that the murderer's handprint just so happened to just, you know, lay on top of where he placed his handprint. Which, you know what I mean, chat? Like, That's because, how did you pay respects once a month? Yep, that's right, that and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. The locker I used when I was a detective, the locker I still use. All that's in there now is a heap of broken dreams. It'd be strange if my prints weren't in our locker. I'm struggling to believe the idea that where his handprint was, of him just kind of doing stuff, is exactly the same location of a bloodied handprint. I'm struggling to believe that. What about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine, it's no mystery. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. Just so happened. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. And the chances of it happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances are not that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get a reward for me without mere fingerprints. Wanna know why? Fingerprints. SL9 incident. Case closed. Joe Dark was the perpetrator. Serial murder. Sentenced to death. Victims: Edward Jones, Edith Kirby, Jeb Bates, Jason Knight, Rachel Moss, Neil Marshall. That sounds like a familiar name, chat. Prosecutor Mile Edgeworth, Lana and Emma Skye were witnesses. Executive investigators were Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Head investigators were Bruce Goodman. The other investigators were Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. Interesting. So I think it seems that someone related to Marshall was murdered as a part of the serial killer case. Unrelated. They're as different as day and night. They're like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast, the other types of murder. Right, although seemingly they're like a little different. Oh, didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. Yep. However, no fingerprints were detected on the handprints. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of arm. Okay, yeah. To a logical conclusion. We're starting to get the picture, partner. The seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. That video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Places you can't see. Camera's panning back and forth, the floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape.
Objection!
We don't have time for your speculation, Mr. Wright. You can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall is present. Please do so. Evidence in the video that he was present. I don't think there is any, in all honesty. Hold on. Let's check the footage chat. Okay, there he goes. Dog, glove falls out. There's our Meekins. The testimony. Very well. Let's give testimony again. Time. Better touch the locker. Maybe this was by chance. No, he doesn't. There doesn't seem to be any blood on the locker.
Objection!
Hold on, let's save. Right, hold on. Yeah, the murderers are in gloves. Too bad. Doesn't mean right. So walks in, yes. Falls. Meekins walks in. think I've just noticed something, chat.
Objection!
Oh, fuck's sake! Come on. I've just noticed something in the fucking video, and the game is just. Hold on.
Objection!
Come on. Wasn't me in that video. Did you know brothers wearing gloves, bloodstains, physically related? Right, hold on.
Objection!
Bastard. There really needs. PHOENIX WRIGHT really needs some kind of better system for, like, for presenting evidence. Because I've just noticed something in the tape, right? And there's no way for me to, like, pause the tape, point out the thing I've seen, and say, there's your evidence right there. Like, it's the narrow funnel problem again. Like, it's the PHOENIX WRIGHT game, we talked about this before. It has this really, really strict path for you to follow, and there's no way to branch. There's no way, if you notice or see something, there's no way to branch and go, I've just seen something, here it is, like... And then the game moves from that. No, it's very narrow, and it's very frustrating. Because, hold on, watch this. So they're fighting, right? They're fighting, they're scrapping. Watch. Watch this, chat. Nothing in the locker there, right? I'll keep watching. There was nothing in the locker, nothing hanging out the locker. Meekins is down. Right? Meekins is down. Wait for it. Bam! Look. See that? Suddenly there's something poking out the locker. Now I should be able... Fight. That I should be able to select the security tape. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, bestie, see? I should be able to pause the security tape and point at it and say, there's your contradiction. There's your evidence. Like... You know? Like, I should be able to point to, like... Play and pause the security tape and go, here is your contradiction. Here is the evidence. And the game doesn't let you do that because it's a narrow path. Like, it's the same problem again. The murderer was in gloves, plus things related. The murderer touched the locker back in France. One of them just happened to be the same person. Like I said, you know, one of them just happened to be at the same place. So his statement repeats. He's just basically saying, like, yeah, it's just all coincidence. So I'm not sure which one of these I should be presenting for the evidence bit. Oh, I'm pulling the walkthrough up, chat, because this is fucking... I've seen the locker. I've seen the fact that in his locker, right? Like... Hold on. This examination... Right. That video is excuses for blind spots. I just can't see. Camera. Camera positioning that could leave while in court. Without talking speculations, show us evidence this video indicates. Right, hold on. Show evidence. Plus everything gallops into the room. Hey, Kiki. Very well then. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being mistaking. Right, come on, let me do video. Let me do the video reversing stuff. Yes, right, fucking finally. This is what I was. This is what I wanted. Thank God the game actually lets me do this now. Holy shit! Right, pass all on this bitch. They have their fight. They have a big scrap. Wait for it. There it is. Bring our attention back to the security camera. There's a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. To sum up what you've said in 8 words or less. Fucking there we go. Fucking letting me do shit with the video footage. Very well. You can clearly see you can clearly be seen in this video. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. Yep, there it is. That locker with the white cloth sticking out, that was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. The white cloth, it's gone. What is the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly disappeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Murderer needed to hide something, so we opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault, I'm choosing mine. Fingerprint sensor, motherfucker. So that's earlier today. The locker can only be opened by detectives they belong to. Yeah. Kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Is this man eating jerky? I only got one word for you, partner. No! Yo! Holy shit! Did he get shot or something then? What the fuck? Order, order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. No joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Olay. Please answer the... Is that how you use Olay? That's not how you use Olay, right? Like... Pat, as the resident Espanol speaker, that's not how you use Olay, right? Like, you don't use it as like... Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you don't use it as like a way to get attention. You'd say something like perdon, right? You'd say like perdon, which is, you know, you can use it to say sorry or as a way of saying excuse me, you know? Like, you wouldn't say, like, Olay is like a, I don't know, like a celebratory term or something? Like, it's like, Olay! Like, you know, it's a cheer. It's not like a fucking... This man needs to go on holiday more. This judge needs to get his feet up somewhere, you know? C. Yeah, thank you. What is he now? A bullfighter? It's an exclamation. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you could. Yeah, it's like a. It's you know. It's like a cheer, a celebration, or like you know, in the context of it being an exclamation, would it be like if something good happens, you shout "Olay"? You know, like if you got a strike in bowling, you'd shout "Olay," right? Is that how that works? Or at least one of the contexts of using "Olay." You know, I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can. I've only really heard it during dancing. Yeah, that works. Fuck it, if you're pulling off moves on the dance floor or whatever, and you want to add a bit of flair, you go "Ole!" I guess. Look at these floor plans. Victim, killer. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Marshall was dressed up as Goodman, went into the evidence room, did some bullshit, pulled a knife on Meekins, I guess, and then, stuffed his costume in the locker and bailed. Where was Officer Marshall? Time of the crime. He was the victim, I think. So Marshall was standing right here. That's what Detective Goodman was? Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Detective Goodman responded. He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Yep. Could have pulled his ID and everything could have gone smoothly. Meekins would have left. But no, pulled a knife. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID, why didn't he just show it? He would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realised the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Yep. He's sweating, chat. He's sweating. Quite an imagination, partner. Yeah, and you've spun us quite a tale, Caballero. You've spun quite the tale on us, Vaquero. But we got your ass now. It's over for you. Comprende, hombre. Circumstantial evidence, he's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. Can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. Can't say I care for your beard. Marshall! We're putting the bricks to Marshall, Malk, I'm sorry to say. Your boy Marshall has been lying. He's been a deceiver. He has been up to no good, Malk. He's been a dishonest vaquero. That's fine. Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim. Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. Twist his balls off. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who can't take the desert heat. Obvious he's the one. What can I do? Yep, Edgeworth's up to something. Looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. Twist his dick! For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Being extra thing outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was disguised. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There was no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. If he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later that it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth was sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. Just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to our unanswered questions. Well, let's take another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened his locker to put away the white cloth. I'm fucking save scumming this. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Right. Why did he have to open his locker? Whoa, hold on. Pose. Pose for a second here, chat. You see that? You see that? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What do we have here, chat? What do we have here? Looks like Detective Goodman spilled a little something on himself, huh? Well, Detective Goodman. There we go. I keep forgetting, like, it doesn't appear on the fucking... Hold on. Goodman. There you go. Looks like he spilled a bit of something on himself. He got too much dip on his chip. Got too deep in the sauce. I think it's arguable to say that Marshall had to ditch his costume because he couldn't be really seen walking around with fucking blood on his shoulder. That's the reason you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat? You couldn't just walk out just like that. So you hid the coat in your locker. Pardon me? Whatever you say, hombre. And Officer Marshall. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated you all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to have been here now, would we? Okay. Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did, all of it. Alright, it seems the time's come. His confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Okay. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. Yeah, it was a fucking... Hold on, chat. Hold on a second. Hold hold everything, all right? For the crime podcast homies in the chat, right? For the CSI homies, for the Criminal Minds dogs in my chat right now. I beg of you, tell me this is like a reason amount of blood for a cut to the hand. I beg you. Put out your stall. Tell me in what reality could this amount of blood be poured out of a man, like with a cut to his hand, right? From a knife, no less, right? Knife cut to the hand. You'd have to have chopped up his whole fucking hand. Like, look at this shit. Are we like? Come on now, for the crime homies, like for my dogs who watched every CSI series, like cut to the hand. Is this what we're meant? Like, come on now, what is this? It'd be fucking dead. Like, I was gonna say the drama is too much. Like, if you lost that amount of blood, right, from a cut to the hand, A, it would be a pretty fucking deep cut, but also you'd be fucking dead of blood loss. You'd be fucking pale. You know, you'd have left the mortal coil. You'd be hospitalized at best. Like, Meekins wouldn't be like testifying in a courtroom. He'd be in a fucking ward. Like, nah, like no bullshit. He'd be needing fucking blood transfusions like you were chugging pints. I had to do that day. I couldn't stand by and let it die. What do you mean by that? You mean SL? Was it SL9? Yeah. There's a fact since that case was closed, it was going to completely end with the transferal that day. If I had anything to do about it, that incident's not over. When a case is closed, only the case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, pardon, the case is mine. There's no chance that's why I stole the detective's ID, plan to take out the evidence. Well, you just got yourself Detective Goodman. If I don't make it look like Detective Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filing out the lost item report. I returned his ID card, left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean, the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you would have been able to open that locker by yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Marshall. Officer Meekins knocked him out. Yeah, like, you did more than just knock him out, you pulled a fucking blade on him. Let's just say I was a little surprised. And W to another 5 minutes, I didn't think anybody would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly, yeah. I have to think a little. Yeah, there it is. There's the raise. He threw himself at me and ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out. Yeah, bro, maybe next time just don't pull a blade on him in the first place. This one. Like, you could have had him a fist fight or something, or choked him out. Like, bro, did you really need to pull a fucking switch on the man? Like, good grief. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I don't think it would make a difference. Those security tape has erased everything. However, you blooded your coat in the struggle with Officer Meekins. Someone was in the security room when I came up, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. Dang. wasn't any murder in the evidence stream at 15. The blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. Victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner, so you stole the evidence from the locker. No, I didn't. When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. Still missing, Your Honor? Someone else stole the evidence. Faraway partner, it's a free country, just remember I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID and being a police officer, this is no small offence. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Your case is one is mine, I'll do anything it takes. I believe I know why.
Objection!
Yep, knew it. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. Cactus juice, it's the quenchiest! Shout out anybody who knows that reference. Sounds like you've been, yes, cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims, Neil Marshall relates to this man. Oh, shit. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you... Ah, interesting. Interesting. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right, he was killed. And the case fell into your hands. What's his relation to you, brother? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so this Marshall became a detective, and this Marshall was a prosecutor. Interesting. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant and the deputy chief of police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Oh, Jesus, lies. Look at fucking him! Christ, he's a wrong un, isn't he? Look at him, Christ. Joe Dark. He doesn't look a far field from Von Karma, does he, as well? Like, oh, fucking, what a freak of nature. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence, that's all we needed. He was arraigned and incinerated. The case was finally closed, at least according to the public records. My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. That's your reason for your insane actions. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say, no matter how much you try to hide it. Can't fool me. Interesting. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Yes, okay. So there was no murder at the police department. It was Marshall trying to steal the evidence disguised as Goodman. So the question still remains, why or what happened between Lana and the real Goodman? Exactly at the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. It's got to be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office, yep, it was a real one, which in turn means that only one person could have committed the crime, Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky. A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial, which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. There's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. Seems to me this boy's got the draw, new partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, and no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Sky, and the testimony of one Ms. Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. You fucking prick. I rest my case. You sneaky bugger. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was faked. But I didn't realise that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, time has come for there to arrive. The plot finds the defendant. Nani? Yo! Emma's taken to the stand! The defense has an objection, a scientific objection. Let's fucking go! Let's go! Emma's taken to the stand, chat! Mr. Wright? Are you this girl's guardian? In a sense, please, Your Honour. All I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you... Oh, fucking good work, Edgeworth. He's got a soft spot for her. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky sisters were in the file. Fucking bestie, you said the drama is too much. Well, the drama continues, it seems. That's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day, so I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found in Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So, I ran over there and I looked at it again. Okay, didn't find anything. Which was it after all. God damn it, woman, you're only 16. Give yourself some time. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney, but Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Go to the inside of the police department. Does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Can't find anything wrong with the blood mark. Okay. Saving the game! What could be wrong with the handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Why was there a bloodied handprint on his locker? The handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. That's trying to buy time, Marios, right? With all this evidence here. Be something I can use. Question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? Ooh boy. Here we go. Door. That's the first lot of lockers. That's the handprint that Marshall left. Bloodied handprint there that we're on about. Other lockers. That's... I think I know what the issue is, chat. Is it the fucking mascot? It's the fucking mascot. The blue badger, it was in front of the, Gumshoe's locker. Defend of the truth, guardian of proof, explain yourself as right. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. Blue badger is not here. What happens when we put him in? This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Yep, yep, and yep. He's directly in front of Gumshoe's locker. That's right. So long as the blue badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint on the locker. Yep. So how did the handprint get there? What does that mean? It means it can't be done. The traces were undeniably found in the locker. Not me, I didn't put it there. Meekins was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room. After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on the locker. Yep, true. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. You've allowed fucking worse, Your Honor. You've allowed much worse. Like, what are we talking about, chat? Like, this judge in particular, mind you, be like, I won't allow such far-fetched balderdash in my room. You have fucking let worse permeate your courtroom, my guy. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? You have let much worse permeate your courtroom than this. I don't want to hear your fucking bullshit reasoning. No, absolutely not. Get fucked. Get fucked. Absolutely not. No shot on God. May sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February the 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape taken by the security camera. Yep. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time... Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. I'm gonna save really quick. I think I know who it is though, chat. I think I'd like to suspect who. Yep, there we go. Detective Goodman when he was murdered. There you go. It's ridiculous, I refuse to accept this absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. Summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this very well. Then tell us. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it, and in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. Yep. The ID card record. Yep. Look at this. Look at fucking this. Officer Meekins, he brought the Badger into the room. Then Bruce Goodman goes in, has his kerfuffle, his little scrap with Meekins, and that's the murder at the the murder at the police department that we've proven didn't happen because it was Marshall. But back here, the old one was at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7 sevens, right? 4:20 p.m. We don't know who that is yet. Who could it be? Let's see here, 4:50. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40. Miles Edgeworth. Miles Edgeworth is once again in the fucking crosshairs. I'm trying the act witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. It's clear from the luminol it's true from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. Blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, it's physically impossible. That would mean a crime must have taken place before Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Yep, 4:20. 4:20. Fucking, there you go. Talk about a lucky number. That doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. It's the only plausible explanation. He went in with the 7 sevens. This ASAP, figure out whose ID number is 777. Is 7777777. There we go. That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card, at least at present. Explain yourself. The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. Ridiculous, just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against the executive is accepted. Cover-ups of the officials, that's how the prosecutors operates. Bro fucking hates these motherfuckers. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask you a question. Yes? No, not to you, to her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive.
Objection!
She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number, and it's not 7777777. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. Answer this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Ooh. I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for the trial. At that time, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did. Ooh, confession. I became prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. Before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Oh. Drastic crimes require drastic measures, that's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. Even if it involves forging evidence. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, Edgeworth's having a stroke. The crowd's fucking lost it, chat. Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. Ooh. To be continued. Chaos, yeah. Nice, there we go. February the 24th, 3:12 PM, Wright & Co. Law Offices. So sorry, Mr. Wright. Sorry for what my sister said. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. As everyone said about his killings on me, a lot of why Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What? Well, Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill Emma? What? What the fuck? Oh my... Yo! Yo! This dude that killed Marshall tried to kill Emma as well. Yo! Madness. Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. Yo. Chat, what the fuck? It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed. Hurry! Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. Marshall tackled him, and then lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I still see it now. Remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall? I was asked about that now. I was only asked about when I was attacked. Lana, she made up the crime. The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so bad, Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence, even so. That's when it all started. The rumours okay, I see. Even though he may not know it, really involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. Okay. Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. What happened after that? Apparently I passed out. Okay. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. This poor baby, this poor child, this wee lass, good heavens. She just wants to be a fucking investigative scientist. Tried to, the words just wouldn't come out. Drew a picture, but it wasn't any good 2 years ago. Must have been 14. It's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind, decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I wanted to be able to fight crime with my testimonies. And find the evidence to make the airtight case. That way Lana would never have to forge any. It's all coming together, chat. It's all coming together. It's making sense. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about a crime. Something Emma... You said you were in Lana's office at the time, that's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? He was being chased by the prosecutor. Joe Duck had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning by the police. What happened? This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into the office. Okay. The officers in the questioning room are right across from the elevator. 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. Really? Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. To the detention center. Keep causing me trouble. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? Fair point. Tell me about you. Detective 2 years ago. Yes, I'll understand what's the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? Alright. Alright then, what time is it, chat? 5 to midnight. Right then. How long have we been going for? Just under 3 hours, it looks like. Right then, hold on. Bear with me. I am going to save there. 1 second. Right, that's good. Right. Title screen. There we go. I think, chat, we're getting closer to finishing this case. In fact, honestly, I think we may get it finished at some point this week, perhaps. Go. Let me just check my mahoosages. Right. Yes, it is 5 minutes to midnight, so I think it's reasonable to... Reasonable to call it there, so bear with me 1 second. Second, sorry, chat. Just organizing some stuff. Second, wait for it. Okay, so that one works. That's good. What about this one? Does no one work? What about this one? Oop. There we fucking go. Needed a bit of kick up the arse, I think. I think, chat, it is time to call it an evening. Thank you everybody who came by this evening for the first stream of the week. There we go. We will be back tomorrow morning for Cultic. Hopefully we'll get that finished as well. Like, I'm enjoying the game, and I'm interested to see where it goes. And then once we're done with Cultic, we should be on Black Mesa, which will be very fun for those who've never experienced it. And I will, yeah, and then we'll be back with more PHOENIX WRIGHT on, what day is it today? Today's Monday. Tomorrow morning we're doing Cultic 2. So Wednesday evening we'll be back with more PHOENIX WRIGHT. So yeah, thank you everybody who came. Thank you everybody who stayed, everybody who lurked. I'll see you in the morning for more Cultic. So everybody take care, rest up, and I will see you tomorrow.